Let me introduce you to Bo Miles, a unique and likable guy. Everyday life, friends and family makes up the artist's dream.
Here we are, another episode of the Artistry of Podcast. I am Bo Miles. Bo. And today we are going to talk about... So I'm juggling two episodes, right? We got the Look at Society. Right, so I rewatched The Dark Knight, and then we have Dreams, which there are a few dreams that remain really close to me, like they're very impactful, and I don't like to blend topics, even though I can go into different stories, but I don't like to blend topics because I want the overall theme of whatever the episode to be. I want it to be consistent to where, okay, it's like, all right, all of the stories relate to this certain point. This whole episode was on a certain point. And with the current story about Joe Rogan, I feel like, because I definitely want to speak on it, and this relates more to the Joker than it does with the Dream. So I guess we'll just have to do the Dream episode next week or next time, whenever, right? I want to be more consistent in doing them weekly, but I might do them every 2 weeks, right? Bi-weekly, every bi-weekly, right? So I might do it every 2 weeks, but we're gonna drop this one, and this is a week from the last one. Before we get into it, just listening, I believe like health has always been in the back burner, I feel, but listening to other podcasts that really puts like everybody that I listen to, they have an emphasis on health, right? So it is shaping my perception to where I'm starting to be more health conscious, and I'm like, man, I need to take ownership of my health, and So that we got that going on. I haven't been playing Tekken. I don't know if this is week 2. So yeah, this might be week 2. I don't think it's week 3, but it could be week 3. So I need to get on. I need to practice. Like even if I'm not playing someone, I need to still get on and play the different drills, right? So I need to constantly be in the different drills, and that reminds me of the jiu-jitsu, and it reminds me of the piano. So all of these things for me work together. So we got that, and then just looking at my kids, how they are developing and experiencing life now that they are older. My son's out the house. My daughter's about to get out the house. And just looking at the different choices that they're making and running myself back into the gambit and in my mind and saying like, okay, how did I handle these situations, right? And how could I have handled these situations differently? So these are some of the things that are actually that I'm dealing with, and we all deal with work and just everyday life and just juggling everything. And my music, I'm trying to, because I feel like my discipline and my focus needs to, like, I don't care to be on the wheel and just to be a jack of all trades and a master of none. Like, that doesn't bother me because I am not my work. I am not what I get paid to do. Right? Like that's not who I am. So I enjoy a little bit of everything. And I also enjoy being the very best that I can be. And I'm just trying to just navigate through those waters, right, of business and pleasure. So that was a recap of what I got going on in my personal life. But looking at, I think we'll hit the Joe Rogan at the end because it's all a part of this idea and the attack on that idea. But do we truly get out of it? That is the thing. And that's the thing that's what I walked away from it. Because like I said, I watched The Dark Knight again, which was an excellent movie. It is a good movie. And I don't even think that I realized it even when it came out, right? And because Heath Ledger had already passed when that movie came out. He had already passed. And I want to say that they were already talking about it being Oscar worthy. Like, I want to say that was the buzz around it. And remember, this is all from memory. And one thing that I learned, and we'll talk about memory a little bit in the dream part, the dream episode next week, but memory can get fuzzy and pull different things together. It can pull a lot of things together when you're looking, when you're just looking at memory. So from what I can remember of The Dark Knight, its release is that Heath, I don't know why I said Keith, but that's only just because I'm not looking. It's not like I'm looking at something. But Heath Ledger, he passed away, and his role, like, they were already talking about Oscar worthy. So I went into it, and I remember at the time, like, I remember not really, like, I liked the movie. That wasn't a question of me liking it. I liked the movie, and I realized that it was good, right? But it's even better now. It's even better now after seeing the third installment. What is it? The Dark Knight Rises. After watching the Dark Knight Rises and watching a whole bunch of other movies, and so when I went back to watch the Dark Knight, I mean, it was like, man, this was a really good movie. This was a really good movie. And Christopher Nolan, I mean, he really put his foot down. And those who know me, like, look, I'm a huge Christopher Nolan fan. Like, I love Christopher Nolan movies. And I love Ridley Scott's, what is it? I can't even think of the word, but it's like his visual compositions, or the way that he shoots a movie, like those landscapes, just like huge, large landscapes you get to see in his films. It's not like choreography, but I can't think of the actual word, but it was a word in my vocabulary when I was in photography, but I just can't think of that word. But Like, that's what I love about Ridley Scott. Like, I love that. And I think I even said in a movie, I think I said it on Wax, okay, in the episode of the podcast. I believe that I spoke about Dune, the latest Dune, and how like, I thought I was looking at a Ridley Scott movie, right? Like, some of, like, the opening, just the colors and everything. And I learned later, I found out maybe like a couple weeks ago, that one of Ridley Scott's like directors of cinematography or photography or something like that. One of his directors who worked with him on a bunch of movies, they worked on this movie, and I could tell, I could tell that it had that Ridley Scott-esque about it. And so Nolan is Christopher Nolan probably is like my number one guy, far as bringing story and the way that it's shot, right? Just he wants you to think. He forces you to think in his movies. And so it's like, man, Christopher Nolan. When I go back to watch this, The Dark Knight, right? It's like, man, this was just a good movie. Like, I'm gonna have to watch it again, and it's so crazy because when it came out, like, I wasn't even a huge fan of it. As far as like, if we look at the Marvel, what was it? Endgame. I think, what was the first one? Infinity War. I think both of them were called like Infinity War, Endgame, or I can't think of the freaking first of that Thanos, the Infinity War. Maybe it was called Infinity War, and then the second one was called Endgame. Now, I know is nothing just to look it up, but I feel like by me not looking it up, that's kind of me reliving the 80s and the 90s, right? Where you couldn't look it up. All right? Like, there was no looking it up. It was no Google it and let's make sure that we got our facts right. It was, you put it out there, and if it's wrong, it's wrong. And those of you, this is kind of like a little Easter egg. This is kind of like this is the interactive part. Those of you who wish to look it up and to actually see and know what it is, like, boom, this is a chance for you to do those things, right? So that's why I'm not going to look it up, right? We're just going to state facts. Well, we're just going to state what we believe to be true, and but on certain things, I will look it up. But I feel like, we're just talking about The Dark Knight. You guys can easily look up anything I got wrong, and I can check it as well. But for the most part, I mean, it'll be fine, right? But I just didn't realize how much how much of a good movie that The Dark Knight is. I'm definitely, like I said, I'm definitely going to watch it again, right? I'm definitely going to watch it again. Nolan is definitely one of my top, and like I said, what I like about Ridley Scott, right? So let's go ahead and get started now that we have that all of that out of the way, right? Which I forgot my point, or what I even said when I was talking about before I broke off into the look it up. Now, one thing that I could do is I was thinking maybe there was a way for me to record and then do like a back loop that I could have in my, maybe if I wear earphones, and then I can just send that little like back loop into my earphones, and that way I could hear the last thing So that's one way, but it's kind of like instant replay. Now this instant replay has been done, right? I could even, if I was recording in Pro Tools, I could easily listen, right? I could do like an instant replay. But the setup that I have, it just doesn't call for it. So I'm not going to worry about it. It's really not that big of a problem. All right, so here we go. Let's go ahead and jump in to The Dark Knight. And this is not like a review, right? This is really just understanding the Joker and his plan, right? And we're going to talk about some could the Joker exist in reality, and just all of these villains, right? Could these villains really exist? Could Batman really exist? And there was actually a part of that movie that I feel like doesn't get enough shine. And this was the part where you got those people, the team of people acting like Batman. And I'm not sure if it was just one in The Dark Knight, and maybe it was more of them in the other one, or if there were, because like my memory is like, I thought it was, it had to have been more because they had guns. So it was like a team of Batmen, right? It wasn't just one guy. One of them got killed, and I think I thought that it was more, right? They had more Batman like impersonation, but maybe it was just from the first one, and then they kind of just settled in on the second one. So I'm definitely gonna watch. I gotta watch the first one now, right? So I gotta watch the first one so that I can see. All right, is that where my memory is throwing them all together? But all in all, this is something that is reality, right? Once Batman comes out and he gets a certain type of recognition or a certain type of shine, like the police, they are on board if they are putting up the bat signal, right? You're going to get a whole bunch of like copycats, people who like, I'm Batman, right? You're going to get a whole bunch of them. And that's something that I would like to see in these Batman movies, right? Where it's like a mob of Batmen. Because I believe in Batman Beyond, there's like a mob. Like the Joker is now in a gang. It's not just one person. Or in one of the storylines, the Joker is a gang. It's just a whole bunch of street thugs, right? So when I was watching The Dark Knight, like that really was profound to me. Just how many people would become Batman. Like they would like, look, no, I'm Batman, and that would be in any superhero movie, right? That when you inspire people, you're not just inspiring them to remain cows and to stay in the slaughterhouse and to be murdered. Look, Batman inspired me to just keep working my 9 to 5 and living this boring ass life. Like, no, man, that's not gonna happen. Like, Batman is gonna inspire people to quit their jobs, to become vigilantes, to work out and to train, to become fighters, just like him. Like, that's what they would do. And they had this fat guy. He was like the chief Batman. He was the leader of the Batmen. He's all out of shape and middle-aged white guy. It's like, yo, he's like a coach. You got a coach out there throwing on the cape and cow. And it's like, nah, man. Like Batman would have inspired kids who would have like been training since little kids, right? If you think of Hoist Gracie inspired a generation. He inspired millions of people, and he just fought on TV in 2 events. I want to say two events. The first two UFCs. The first fight he fought was the boxer. He easily dispatched of him. The boxer had like one glove on. That boxer wasn't taking it serious. I mean, that's just crazy. That's how delusional people are. People are really delusional. This guy put on his one glove. I want to say his name was Art. Is it Art Jameson? Now, this is something that I really would want to look up. Because it's like, yo, man, dude, what are you doing? But he really believed that one glove was actually going to help his opponent so where he wouldn't kill his opponent. This is the delusion. And this is still in line with government, right? This is still in line with government. This is why I say that when we watch these movies, I think I said it either within the last two episodes. It was definitely this year, right? But when we watch these movies and they die, like the alien invasion, when we watch that, and we watch the storyline over and over and over again, it's programmed in our minds to believe this, that it's a hive mentality, and we just if we can just kill the queen or destroy the main hub, then they all just boom, they all just fall and die, right? What was the movie? Live, Die, Repeat, which was a Tom Cruise movie, one of my favorite movies. But that's how spoiler, that was the mechanic of that movie as well, right? So here you got Art. I want to say his name is Art Jameson, but because let's say his name is not, and his name is something else. I don't want to keep saying it, and then people believe that his name is Art. But I want to say it is Art. But the boxer, he puts on one glove because in his mind, he's in the perception of the people, like, yo, you're a professional boxer. You've been boxing people, right? I don't look, it wasn't like he was a heavyweight and he murdered somebody, like he killed, but that was the idea that, look, man, you're a trained professional boxer who boxes and punches all day. You've been punching all your life. That you get in a ring with people who don't really, you get in a cage with people who don't know how to box, and they are going to die. You could kill you. A professional boxer punches you without his glove. The glove is created to protect us. That's what the glove is for. This is the thinking of the 80s and the 90s. That the glove is created to protect the people, right? This is propaganda. This is and the actual boxer believed it. He believed this. He hasn't killed anyone with his bare hands, just beating them to death, right? But yet he believes that he would kill somebody. So he puts on one glove so that, boom, when he knocks you down, right, those final blows would be with the glove, right? He has, he's like this. Look, man, you're in a cage fight. You're in a cage fight, okay? There are no rules. 9 times out of 10, when you're punching somebody and you're salt and peppering them up, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, they're going to charge in and they're going to grab you. They're going to rush you. They're going to try to grab you. Like that. That's facts. Okay. This is any fight. This is how it goes. In boxing, when you're in the ring and you're boxing, you grab the referee if you're just holding a person, the referee will break it. They'll step in between. They'll separate you. And boom, let's get the fights back. Let's get the boxing back. So this boxer, he goes in there and he has his glove. Right, this is the thinking of the boxer, right? So he should know better. He should know that, look, this is not the way that it goes. But he's in a closed-in thing. That's like boxing, right? You're in an enclosure. You're in some type of parameters, right? So you're in parameters and you have a referee. So his thinking reverted back to boxing. The boxing ring. He thought it would just be just like boxing ring. You put me and him, right? And we're talking about him at his age now. He's probably, I want to say they was probably like 30. They were probably like in their 30s. At the time UFC won, I was about 13. But yeah, I think I was like 13, 14. So they're in their 30s. So like even me now. So that's me now. That means he's probably in his 60s or 70s. You put us in a boxing ring. Look, man, I'm going to get salt and peppered up, okay? Like, all right, I'm going to get salt and peppered up, right? That's just the way it is. But outside the boxing ring, well, that's a different game. But we know this now, right? He went into it just oblivious, just believing the reality that was painted, that he had he participated in this reality, right? He goes in there, boom, Hoist Gracie quickly dispatches him. Like it was nothing. It was nothing. It was easy, light work, right? Takes him down, gets the choke, easy. It wasn't even impressive, right? It wasn't even impressive. It was like, and I remember at the time thinking, man, like, yo, the boxer versus, right? But you didn't know Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Like when it first, UFC was America's introduction on a large scale. Now they were already putting in that work in California, on the beaches of California. They were already putting in that work, already challenging anyone in any other discipline. Come here and we'll season you guys up. All right, we'll season you up. So they had already been doing this, but on a large scale, like the way America got it. And for the most part, I would say the world was that UFC, the first UFC, mainly America, right? So you get that first UFC, boom, he dispatches Art. I want to say he fought somebody else. He fought the Taekwondo guy. It wasn't I believe it was a Taekwondo. I know that the guy, it was the guy who knocked out the sumo wrestler's tooth. Like I think that was like the first fight. That was the first fight, and he, you got this little guy. He's pretty small. I would say he has a dad bod, and he just hits him and he got the sumo wrestler, right? Or Samoan. I don't even know if he was a sumo wrestler. He was like a Samoan. He was pretty brown, so I would think he was Samoan. And they get in there, and he hits him like an open palm fist, and boom, knocks his tooth out. Like you just see it come flying out. So that was like the first fight. So then eventually Hoist fights him, and I want to say again, judges distance, takes him down, gets the choke. You also have Ken Shamrock. Ken Shamrock is in there. He's like a wrestler. So this is like the first time that, as an American, you're like, yo, man, this like wrestling. And I want to say it was like they was calling it like Greco-Roman wrestling. So it was wrestling with submissions, toe locks, heel hooks, like leg lock type of work. And so up until then, and Ken Shamrock, even then, was definitely a specimen, right? Was a slab of ground beef. Like, look, man, this guy was beefed up. He had the cakes and everything. So, just watching him, he was just slamming people down and just really putting in that work. So you knew that, okay, look, he was a formidable opponent and he was probably going to make it to the end. So eventually in the finals, in the grand finals, you have Hoist Gracie, who was skinny, like he's tall, he's lanky, and he's going against Shamrock, who was muscular. He's like, yo, he's like he could play Batman, right? He could even play he could play Bruce Wayne in like a Batman Beyond type of film where Batman is old. Like, yo, Ken Shamrock is ripped. He's shredded beef, okay? So you kind of felt like, yo, Ken was going to win, right? Like, and the idea of the 80s and the 90s was that these muscle guys were going to win. So you get Hoist. They're in a good battle, but Hoist edges out the win, and it just proves to the world that you don't have to be muscular, that the big, strong, muscular guy does not always win. And that's what Hoist proved. And when he sent that out, right, it shook up the world. It really did, because up until then, you did not believe that the smaller guy could win in a fight. You thought that, okay, if he lifts weight, like if he's a football player, like, yo, you gonna lose. Okay? You're gonna lose. Hoist showed the world that the smaller guy could win. The smaller, weaker guy could win. And it's even bigger than the Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, George Foreman. I'm sorry, because he actually lost the first Joe Frazier. Then I want to say he won maybe the second, and then he lost. No, I want to say if it was only two, he lost the first one, and then I know one of them, the Joe Frazier's cornerman threw in the towel. So maybe that was the third one. So maybe he lost the first one, won the second one, and then won the third one because he threw in Joe Frazier's coach threw in the towel. But George Foreman, Muhammad Ali and George Foreman, it was even bigger than that fight. It was bigger than that fight because Muhammad Ali was smaller, right? He was a smaller fighter. George Foreman was bigger and stronger. So you have those two elements, but the technique that he used to beat George Foreman would not work in a real fight. So like the rope-a-dope is not going to work in a real fight in the sense that you're just you're up against the wall and some guy's just beating on you. And I could say that it could work, right? It could work, but it's not technique. Like that's not technique. That's the same as Brock Lesnar and Shane Carwin, right? Shane Carwin is just beating Brock Lesnar up, and he like gasses himself out, and then Brock Lesnar gets like a choke. He gets him in a choke, and then he wins, right? But Brock Lesnar and Muhammad Ali are both trained athletes, and I think that like physically, like, yo, these guys are no slouch. Like if you look at them, Muhammad Ali, and this is the thing, like people like, yo, Muhammad Ali was like, yo, beefy. Like, yo, this guy wasn't no lanky, little spring chicken. Like, yo, Muhammad Ali had some size on him. He had some mass on him. Yeah, George Foreman was even bigger. George Foreman is even bigger. But Muhammad Ali was no slouch. Like, don't get it twisted, man. He had shoulders for days, okay? You look at his shoulders, and you say, like, yo, nah, man, I ain't... Nah, man, I ain't fighting that guy. You look at the footwork, just, like, look, man, he was a master. He was a master at this. This is you just not gonna hop in. I'm just not gonna hop in the ring with George Foreman in a boxing ring and do what Muhammad Ali did. Like, that's not gonna happen. That's not like, that is not gonna happen, right? But Hoist Gracie, right? He physically looked like the weakest person that you've ever seen. Like, that's what he looked like. And I'm sure it was kind of set up that way, right? Again, just looking at the structure of things, it was set up that way. Ken Shamrock looks like a Greek god, and Hoist Gracie he's small and frail. So it's like, man, this guy's about to get murdered, right? So when Hoist won, it was like, yo, man, it was just a huge victory. It was huge. It was big. It was like, man, this is what I gotta learn, right? Like, that's what it showed all the people who wasn't athletic. I'm in the gym doing push-ups and curls, and I'm running. I'm like a part of a Rocky montage. Like, all the people who didn't look like that, like, this showed you a way that you could beat the people who do look like that. And that's what Hoist did. And when he did that, like, everyone in America that looked like Hoist and that was smaller and that would normally not be able to take on these quote unquote bigger guys, all of them was like, yo, boom, Hoist, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Like, it locked in. Like, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu became American Jiu-Jitsu once that happened. And then you got UFC 2, right? And he fought Chemo, I think his name was Chemo or something close to that. And like, yo, Chemo was a savage. He was vicious, right? He was a beast. I think Hoist also fought the kickboxer and won. But he fought Chemo in 2, and that it looked like it was going, like, it looked like Hoist was going to lose. Hoist edged it out and he won, right? But and Chemo was huge. Like, yo, Chemo was a big guy. He was a big, strong fighter. Like, yo, who was striker, right? He had he was a big, strong striker. So it wasn't going to be as easy to grapple. Whereas Ken Shamrock was more of just a wrestler. He wasn't a striker, right? So that victory over him. So those 2 big victories sealed everyone wanting to be Hoist Gracie in America. Like there is no bigger person in America than Hoist Gracie. Like, and I think in the world, like, they say Hickson, but in America, it's just like the Nintendo. Okay, the Nintendo was an 8-bit system, but it was the biggest. It was Nintendo everything. What are y'all doing? Y'all playing Nintendo? Like, yo, they got Sega Genesis. Like, yo, nah, it's Nintendo. Like Nintendo was the space. Like, the space was called Nintendo. It wasn't called video games. It was called Nintendo. It's for breakfast now. Nintendo. It's a cereal. Wow. Like, yo, that's what Hoist Gracie did. And that's what Batman would have done in reality. Batman would have done that throughout the world, right? Now, we just say, like, all right, you got all these other superheroes that's in these different cities as well, right? So he would have definitely done that in Gotham City. Like, everything that I just said about Hoist Gracie, it would have been a long rant about Batman. And everywhere you went, like, there would have been a Batman underground movement, right? Especially once he got the backing from police. from the Gotham City Police Department, the GCPD. Once he got the stamp from the GCPD, every elementary school you went to would have been like, yo, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be Batman. They wouldn't have said, I want to be some fucking boring ass lawyer. Like, man, I want to be an electrician. Like, no, man, these kids want to be Batman. That's who these kids want to be. And that part of the movie, when you had those, those people like dressing up and pretending, really is not even pretending to be Batman because Batman is just an idea. Right? And especially if we don't know, like, okay, we know who he is, but when you don't know who he is, then everyone is him then. So anyone who dons on the cape and cowl is Batman. It's like a fighting game. Okay? Like, yo, I'm all right, I use Eddie Gordo, but Spirulgen is the Eddie Gordo in America. Right? So am I the fake Eddie Gordo? Nah, I'm not as skilled as Spirulgen. And it's like, all right, well, one day will he be as skilled as Spirulgen? I don't think so, but crazier things in life has happened. So, if one day I am the greatest Eddie Gordo player of America, the number one, it won't surprise me as much as it will surprise me, right? So that part of the movie, I just like, I want to see that developed. And I think that if Bo as a director, because you already know I want to do the Emmett Till movie, right, is going to be like Passion of the Christ, right? I'm going to do that. And I would do the Batman movie where people are, it's a whole, like, it's Gotham is truly inspired by Batman, right? Because he inspired, you see all the villains that he inspires, right? Just the fact that Batman exists is like a beacon for supervillains to go after him. And that in real life is true, right? The fact that Anakin exists in America is the reason why all these other players, right? And Anakin is a Tekken player. So all the people that I'm going to be naming, are going to be Tekken players. So just a quick one right out the gate. But I mean, in life, maybe I may mention Daigo, but all the players that I'm ever going to talk about, and any names that I drop, they're going to be Tekken players. Okay, that's just my game. So that's what I'm going to speak on. But the fact that Anakin plays Tekken and he's going around, he's defeating people. Boom, you got counter Anakin. You have all these other guys, right? And it's not to say that Anakin is good and Shadow is bad, right? It's just that Anakin was America's best player. And yeah, at the top, it just fluctuates. So one day he may be the best. The next day it may be Joey Fury. The next day it may be GM. The next day it may be Shadow, Cuddlecore, right? So it just fluctuates, right? And you get some new names, right? You're going to get some new names out there. But the fact that you have that one is the fact that others will push themselves even harder because they want to defeat. They want to be, I want to be number one. I'm number one, right? Like, that's what you're going to get. So the fact that you have Batman is the fact that you're going to have all of these supervillains come to Gotham City. The fact that you have Superman is the fact you're going to have all of these supervillains come and be attracted to, what is it called? His city is Metro, it's not Metropolitan. What the heck? Metropolis. So there it is, Metropolis. So you're going to have all these people come to Metropolis. And the Flash, I don't even know which city he's from, but But whatever city he occupies, right, you're gonna have these supervillains, and once his movie comes out, we're going to actually see what city is he from, right? And I could watch the Flash TV series on Netflix and to learn more, because I remember his show back in the day. I loved that show, and I remember I used to put on like a little red. I had like a red sweatsuit, so I would put my red sweatsuit on, and then I would tie my red sweatshirt around my head like a ninja, but it was like, I was the Flash. So that was just to show how the significance and the impact that Batman would have, and that's what my Batman movie would be. That would be the heart of my movie. It would be a whole bunch of people, right, that Batman has inspired, but now we have to deal with it. See, in the movie, they don't want you to deal with that, because it takes away from the villain, right? But it gives the villain more people to kill, right, as well. So that was one of the things that I never really thought about the first few times, because I've seen The Dark Knight several times, but I wouldn't say several, but I am going to watch I'm going to watch the whole trilogy. I don't know if I can watch it this weekend, because you got Valentine's coming up, but I'm definitely going to watch it. I definitely got to watch the first one again. I'll probably watch that today, actually. So that was one thing that stood out, but the big thing about that movie was the Joker. And so now we really have to look at the Joker, what he stood for, what he meant, his ideas, like, why is he doing this? Because and I want to say that Marvel has done a good job with their villains, like making them, like humanizing them. And Batman has done that as well. Like they've done it, like the animated series. Like this is known. This isn't something that's new. With the inception of superheroes, the big boom of them anyway, when you just think of Marvel, because there were superheroes before all of that. But when you think about Marvel, and you think about like the X-Men, and you get Magneto, and Charles and Magneto were friends, right? Charles Xavier and Magneto. I can't think of his name, Eric something, right? But they were friends, and the persecution of the mutants by the regular humans, by the unmutated, right? Because they're still humans, right? So the persecution of the mutants by the the unmutated is what caused Magneto's ideas and his drastic ideas that they can't be changed, and there just has to be separation, and we want our own voice, and just the prison camps. He was like amalgamation of Malcolm X and Jewish culture, like just summing up the Holocaust and the black experience and putting it into one person. Boom, you're gonna have Magneto. And summarizing the other end of the black experience in America with Martin Luther King and Gandhi, you have Professor X, right? So you have these two clashes, and so you can sympathize, you can actually believe and agree with Magneto. So like humanizing and giving these characters good qualities or understanding is not new, right? But I want to say that like in the Batman films, his villains you didn't sympathize with them. Like if we just do a quick roundup, I think Selena Kyle, so Catwoman. So you got the Joker in the first Batman, you didn't sympathize with him, right? You didn't sympathize with him. Then you get Batman Returns, you get the Penguin and Selena Kyle, the Catwoman. Oswald, I think it's Oswald Cobblepot or something like that. Something Oswald is his first name. So you get the Penguin and Catwoman, and you can sympathize with them, right? You see that the Penguin was look, they don't do abortions, so they just let the nature abort, right? So they didn't want to just kill the baby, so they just put him in a crib and a crate and just let the wolves eat him like that. Like that's how they did it, right? Look, the blood isn't on our hands, so you kind of felt for him a little bit, and then you get to I want to say the Riddler and Two-Face and Batman Forever. You don't really feel for them. Harvey, I mean, you still get the accident and all of that, but you don't really feel for him. You get maybe it was Mr. Freeze and Two-Face, right? But no, I want to say it was Jim Carrey, right? Jim Carrey. So Riddler and Two-Face. I want to say that was Forever. And then Batman and Robin was Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy. I thought it was somebody else. I mean, I know Bane was in there briefly, but not really, right? And I think that was like the last one. I believe that was the last Batman. Then we get Batman Begins, right? So the cartoon, you had Clayface had a compelling story. Even Harvey Dent, these cartoons have done a good job with humanizing the villains. But the Joker, they never portray him in a light for you to feel sorry for him, for you to actually feel sympathy. So that continues with this movie. So, we start off and he's robbing the criminal's bank, right? So right off the bat, what we're learning is that, okay, the Joker is attacking like the criminals. Like, boom, as soon as the movie starts off. And we don't know until we get to the guy, the bank supervisor or the bank manager, and he kills one of the robbers, and then he says, do you know whose bank this is? And right, criminals just don't have any loyalty or whatever these days, right? So you get that. Now, just with that opening, if we look at, okay, how accurate is that? Because in that opening, you have these bank robbers, and they are like, after the job is done, after each little part is done, then they're like killing each other off. And so you get the one who kills the guy, right? And so they're thinking, oh yeah, I'm sure that the boss told you to kill me, right? So you're getting all of this. Yeah, the boss told me to do him. He's gonna kill. Like, now, one of the big fallacies with that is, like, criminal world is not like working at McDonald's. That's not how it goes. You just don't commit crimes with people that you don't know. You like that doesn't happen. Oh, it's a new guy. Oh man, it's a new guy. Look, man, you on fries today? Oh, I'm on fries. Look, man, let's get him trained up, man. Man, who hired this guy? Like, he put in an application, and I mean, everything kind of checks out. So I mean, we're looking for new criminals. So look, man, he's up. All right, let's get him in there. Let's see how this thing. That's not how it goes. Like that's not how it goes. So that's the first thing that's going to, like, so when you first, like, the first heist, that could never happen. That could never happen, because criminals, when you're committing crime, you know the person, like, you know someone has to vouch for you to even be in the circle. You cannot get in the circle. You cannot buy crack. And we're talking about weight, right? We're talking about serious. Like, yeah, you can go. You may be able to buy a vow. It's going to be hard. Like, for you to even, if you don't know anybody and you don't look like a crackhead, you don't look like somebody that's on coke, it's going to be hard for you to buy it. It's going to be hard. Like, it's going to be hard for you to even buy that. It's going to be hard for you to buy weed. It's going to be hard for you to buy E. It's going to be hard for you to buy lean. Like, you have to be introduced. Someone has to vouch for you. That's how the criminal world works. Now, if you look the part, though, if you look like a crackhead, you can go up to, your local dope dealer, your local crack dealer. Hey, man, you scratch it. I just want to get some crack, man. Right? You could do that, right? Other than that, like, people not going to trust you. So if you just look regular, you're just a regular guy, and you go up on some crackhead, and you go to a crack house, or you go to buy some weed, they're going to look at you like you stupid, right? Now, let's say you can find that one person that's going to take a chance with you, right? That means that you look clean cut. You don't look like you do drugs. You don't look anything like this, because the assumption is you're a cop, right? You're a cop. Like, yo, if you don't look like you do crack, like, yo, you're a cop. Why are you buying crack if you don't look like you do crack? Oh, man, this is my first time. How you even know that I even sell crack? Like, yo, that's a problem, right? So we have to establish that. And periodically, I'm going to be jumping in and out of reality and movie. And it's for that same reason when I brought up the Art Jameson, that boxer from UFC 1. It's for that same reason. Because remember, he is a trained boxer, and he got in the ring, in the cage, in a cage street fight with one glove on, because he believed that he was going to kill somebody. So I get, because people will be like, man, but it's a movie, man. You look, man, it's not about spoiling the movie. The movie is still good. But we have to be aware of reality so that you're not the next Art. You're not the next Art. Okay? And you get in some street fight, and it doesn't have to be a street fight, but you get into a situation, and because you are not aware of reality, you're not prepared for reality. That's the reason why I have to put reality in all of these movies. It doesn't take away from the movie. The movie is still great. The Dark Knight is a great movie. But that first heist is not real. You guys need to know this. You need to know that shit does not go down like that. So that when things come in your neighborhood, when you go into a criminal or a hot neighborhood, right? A neighborhood that's filled with crime, a city that's filled with crime, you know how reality works. Because if you go in there like TV, like, yo, it could be a big problem, right? And we even saw that with Art. He was a professional trained fighter. He was a professional fighter. That means he made money fighting, but yet he still believed something that was not real. He believed that he was going to kill someone, so he put on one glove so that he can just, hit him with that glove. And from his loss, you never, ever, 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 ever saw somebody with a boxing glove step into a professional mixed martial arts fight. Okay? You never saw that again. Why? Because I'm gonna kill somebody? Nah, dog, you ain't gonna kill nobody. Like, yo, you about to be murdered. Okay? That's what happened. So the first part, the crux, the fulcrum of the Joker's first crime in the movie that we see, that would never happen. Like, that would never happen because all of those goons, they would know each other. So once somebody is saying like, yo, he wants you to kill, that's like me and I bring my cousin, like, yo, this is my cousin. This is my little cousin. I'm bringing him into the game. And then somebody says like, yo, we're going to do this job, right? And it's worth, let's say it's worth 23. It's worth 53 million, right? It's worth 53. We're going to do a heist. We're going to get 53 million and we're going to divide it up amongst each other. But if you kill your little cousin, then you can get his share. Nah, man, I'm good. I'm gonna walk away from that. And criminals, they talk amongst each other. So my whole crew, they're gonna know, like, yo, man, dude is talking about, like, yo, he want people to kill each other. Like, yo, come on. That's gonna happen in every crew. So when he's, putting this plan together and he's talking about these, he's telling this plan to people, like, yo, that's just not gonna happen. It's not going to happen. It's just not. Only way that could happen is if crime and like criminality, if crime and criminality was like working at Starbucks or working at Walmart, right? You have all of these people who don't know each other all working together. Now, if there was a system like that in place for criminals, because there are no honor amongst thieves. And that was the statement, like that was the ultimate statement that the Joker is saying, right? There is no honor amongst thieves. And I mean, that's true, right? But then you say, well, okay, so is crime like family or is crime like a business? Is crime like family or is crime like a business? Now, you have, when I say white crime, we're really just basing this off of the Italian mob. You got the Italian mob, and then you have black crime family or black. I mean, it's not really, I mean, you could just say black mafia, but it's not like that, right? So, in white crime, in Italian mafia, you could, and they did, they killed their friends. If the order came, like, yo, if the order was to kill your friend, he did something, whatever the ramifications or whatever the qualifying elements were to kill your friend, even the person who brought you in. Right? Like, yo, whoever brought you in, if their number was up, well, then their number was up. And we did fight. Like, we did fight amongst each other. Like, I remember in different gangs, like, and we had a gang. It was Murder Mob. And I talked about it in an episode before. And Murder Mob, we turned on each other, right? We eventually, we started to, and it's the idea that I think it's like a starved dog. And the reason why I'm laughing, because I know I'm going to mess up this saying. Like, I know that I'm going to make it extra long and it's a really short quote, but the idea is that a starved dog will eat on its prey until there's no prey left, and then it'll start to eat on itself. It'll start to consume itself, right? And that's just like the body, the human body, right? We eat, but if we stop eating, then the human body will start to consume itself, start to eat the fat that's on itself, and start to eat as much of it itself as it can to keep the body or the main central going. So that's what happened with us. So, we went around and we was causing ruckus and chaos in a certain area. And then once we consumed all of our ops and just, nobody was out, then we just started to feed on ourselves. So then we would come up with whatever we had to. We would vilify one of our members in the gang, and then boom. So now that member is no longer part of the gang. So that the way that you got out of that was you was getting beat. You was getting beat out of it, and that told you, yo, don't come around here no more. So we did that, right? Like we did that, and so, but once we started, like I want to say by like the third person, it was like, yo, boom, people just stopped coming. Like, yo, nobody was coming around because it was like, yo, I could be next, right? I could be next. So that element, it is in black crime, right? But we're talking about thugs, and we're talking about really cancel culture. That's really what we're talking about. We're talking about cancel culture, and that's what happens. Like you can check any of the gangs. There's going to be some type of rift between them, and then really it's just cancel culture just goes through and destroys. Cancel culture is like cancer, and it just destroys the people. It destroys the gang. But Italian mafia, Italian families, the structure of it is so that you have a boss, and the boss sends out a word, and then that word gets executed. Tony's a rat. We need to deal with him. Now, Tony made you, right? Tony made you, but so that means you the closest one to him, so you can take him out. Boom, you take him out, right? And at any given, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing out here in these streets. You know what you're doing. So you're out there and you're, that like, yo, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, whatever, right? And it's like, okay, so I know that I'm doing work. So if I'm selling heroin and I'm selling crack, and I'm selling it to two different rivals, and I'm selling it to two different rivals, two different rivaling neighborhoods. Like, yo, I know that my business practices is not legit. Like, yo, it's not good. Okay, it's not that I'm selling crack and that the crack and heroin are killing people. It's no, I am profiting off of these two people, these two warring factions. And when one of them hears about it, like, yo, it's going to be a problem, okay? It's going to be a problem. If I'm, training Taekwondo at this dojo, and I go to another dojo and I start training with them, even Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, like this even happened, I want to say within 5 years, right? So within 5 years of the present, so it was just 22. That'll take us to 17, right? 2017. So 2017 was so at least going back to 2017, there was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach, and when his student went to another gym, and that coach, he beat up his student. It was like, yo, nah, you can't, so if you're doing something that's edgy, like, yo, this, if you're doing something edgy, so that means that at that moment, yo, any day could be your day, and one of your fellow brothers could kill you. We're talking about just both. It goes both ways, right? So those type of things happen. That's normal. Like, in the crime world, like, yo, that's normal. But to assemble a whole heist and telling each person to kill the next person to kill the next person, that cannot happen. The only way that could happen is if crime was run, and crime at this point is like Walmart, right? It's like working at Walmart. And that's what they're saying. I guess that's what they're saying about Gotham City. So it's not just that there is no loyalty in crime, right? Because that's what the Joker was saying. That, criminals have no loyalty, right? The criminals have no loyalty. So he's exploiting what is it? The unloyalty? I can't even think of the word. There is a word, I'm sure, just for not being loyal. But so he exploits that in the criminal, because he's taken over. Ultimately, he wants to take over Gotham, right? Like, and this is like, even if he just wants to destroy it, even if you just want to destroy society, right? I mean, to destroy it, and to do what? And then to what? You just going to just look, man, let me go to another city, right? And then I'm going to just go to another city and go to another city. But we know just from Batman lore that, like, the Joker is in Gotham City. Like, that's where he hangs out. That's where he resides. That's where he makes his money. Like, that's where his bae lives in Gotham. Like, I'm sure his kids, they live in Gotham, right? His mom and dad, they live in Gotham. Like, to live and die in Gotham is the place to be, where you got to be there to know it, where everybody wanna be, to live and die in Gotham, to live and die in Gotham, ooh, right? So, like, this is his home, like, So he wants to destroy it to do what? Look, I just want to live in just total chaos. But like, nah, but you're a leader. You're leading this gang. You're leading this idea. So you have to want to lead. You want it to go a certain way that you want it to go. Okay, you want to implement your idea. All right. So he's attacking the criminals. He's attacking the fact that they have no loyalty. Right. He's going to then. It's like, He's like, everything collapses, right? And he even says it, all you need is a little push. So if we look at that, like that's like his governing, I would say that is the governing agenda, or the governing principle for his ultimate goal, right? So he's like, government, all of these systems are doomed to collapse. Religion, police, government, like just all of it, just society is doomed to collapse. And all it needs is a little push. So he, boom, gets the ball rolling with the criminals, right? Only thing they need is a little push, and they'll start to eat and consume themselves. So, boom, we see that in the very beginning. He's attacking the criminals, right? And he's like rising to power. He's rising to power, but looking at reality, like he couldn't rise to power in the way that they have him in the movie. Like his characteristic for him being a loner. Now, see, the thing of it in Tim Burton's Batman, right? That Joker was a part of a gang. He was already a leader. Like that Joker from Tim Burton's movie is a more realistic Joker, because you need the manpower. Now, if we go back to that shooting, remember the shooting of the theater. I believe it was like a Dark Knight premiere. maybe within like the first few days or whatever that movie came out, one of the guys like shot up the movie theater. He was, I think he killed maybe 2 to 9 people, right? And this is another thing. Another point is like that matters. Even if he just killed one person, it's still a tragedy. It's still horrendous. But it's like, you only killed one person, man, in a theater shooting. I mean, like, yo, man, what's up with your aim, right? Like we automatically go to that realm, but it's devastating to just murder one person at the movie theater, for just one person. But I believe that he took a couple people. He was acting like the Joker. A person like that, like let's say he did it by himself, right? This guy did it by himself. Like his personality, he was like your idea of that type of Joker, right? Now, if we look at Columbine, we have 2 shooters, right? These 2 guys built a relationship with each other. So you have 2 shooters. They know each other. They built up this relationship with each other. Once you start to add more and more and more and more people, that's more and more and more relationships, right? So for there to be a team of, let's say, 5 to 20 Columbine shooters in one school, just 20 kids, we're just going to go down and mow down the whole school, right? That's going to be a lot harder, because once you have 20 people like that, even though all 20 of them saying that, they're going to mow down the school, it's going to be hard for all 20 of those students to not have any other relationships in that school. It's just us 20. That's it. No girlfriend. Like, none of y'all 20 people have girlfriends. None of y'all 20 people have favorite teachers. None of y'all 20 people have, you see what I'm saying? Like it's going to get, those relationships are going to get in the way. So when we look at Tim Burton's Joker, he has a relationship with those men. It's not just pay to play. Look, man, who is this? This is Jamal. He put in his application, and since we need more diversity in this gang, I just figured, look, man, we just go hire Jamal, and look, I don't know what he can do, but he black. So I mean, look, man, we need more diversity. Okay, that's what the big wigs are talking about these days. So Jamal is up. Nah, it didn't work like that. That Tim Burton's Joker came from a criminal family, from a criminal camaraderie, a brotherhood, right? His right hand man, that was his right hand man. That was his man. That was his man. That was that was his friend. As much as you could have a friend, right? Because criminals have friends. They have friends. It's not like, I'm just around a bunch of wolves. I don't know none of these guys. It's no friendship. It's no they have friends. There's friendship. It is kinship, so they do things for each other, and you could see that. So the Joker in that movie, boom, they go out to raw. I believe he was even with somebody, and maybe that other person ran, and maybe the Joker, he, did what he did. And I mean, it's real. I don't really believe it's a spoiler at this point, but some of you guys haven't seen that first Tim Burton's Batman. So I definitely encourage you to watch that. But he had friends. He had people that he actually knew, and they were doing this stuff with him. They're riding with him. Look, man, this is our guy. We're gonna ride out. So that's more realistic for guys to commit these crimes. These are regular. We've seen these guys over and over and over. The Joker from Christopher Nolan, The Dark Knight. Christopher Nolan's Joker, it's kind of like he is using he's using mob mentality to push an agenda and to disappear. So like he's at the front of these crimes, but he's also within the crime, and you actually see it where he's actually partaking in these crimes, and not even these thugs know who he is. Like they don't even know who he is. Like they are oblivious to who he is, right? And we know that that like, yo, that's not real. Like it's just not real. It's not based in reality, right? The real Joker would be like that guy who shot up that theater. He would be like a solo guy, right? Like the Nolan's interpretation would be that solo. Like, yo, he's loony, because that's all right. You just want to see the world burn. Some men just want to see the world burn, which I don't think that's not a good. I can't think of his name, but I might have to put that quote put it in this episode, because Michael Caine, I believe, is his name, but a great actor. You know, I love his voice, and I just it was just so much good about that. So much good about that movie, right? So he's hitting the criminals, right? He's preying off of no loyalty, which, look, man, that's just not going to happen. Okay, and he's saying that, like, yo, that we have traditions. Traditions lead to rules. Rules lead to rulers. Right? That we haven't changed. Like, yo, the humans that were here, the primitives, the so-called primitive cavemen, or just out in the field, right? Because everybody didn't come from caves. Some people lived, right. They seek shelter in caves, but all of humanity didn't come from caves. But the people who are just out in the field, right, just out, they just out, yeah, right. Those people are the same as us. We like to believe that we have some type of evolutionary difference, but we're still the same. Still that brute, just will kill or be killed. Only the strong survive. It's nothing but chaos. Like that's what the Joker is saying. That's what he's saying, and that's what he's trying to prove. Right? Now, in that, we get to I want to say, after we get the different crimes, right? He's working his way up to crime. Then we also, at the same time, are shown Harvey Dent, right? And of course, we get the here. Let's see what it's been changed to. It's not bad. We get the Harvey Dent. We get shown the Batman. The other people who are pretending to be Batman, which, like I said, I really like that. We get shown Harvey Dent because remember, if the Joker is saying that we're all just, crazy and loony, we're all good because it pleases us, because we get further being good than we do being bad. Right? Being bad is just saying that we're against the norms. We're against the government norms. We're against those norms. So that means you're bad. If you're not in line with the rules, then you're bad. And the Joker is saying, like, yo, nah, we're all humans. We're all bad. Far as, like, yo, we're all. The only reason why we're following these rules and we agree this social contract, the only reason why we're agreeing to these rules is because it serves us to agree to these rules. But whenever it doesn't serve us to agree to these rules, whenever it doesn't serve us to be quote unquote good and law abiding citizens, then we will revert to our true nature, which is kill or be killed, only the strong survive, quote unquote loony and crazy, right? So that's his argument. That's what he's saying. He's delivering this through his actions, and bringing Gotham and destroying Gotham is to send it back to say like, yo, we're all like this. And boom, in order for us to really see it, I had to grab this. In order for us to really see it, we have to set up, okay, who has everything? And it's going to be Harvey Dent. And that's who we have. We have Harvey Dent, big HD. Okay? We got big HD in the house. Harvey Dent. And we're just showing that he's good. He's good looking. He has a beautiful woman. He's fighting crime, right? He's with the establishment, and he's bringing on this pain towards the people. And this is, I mean, we just think about like police and government and lawyers and all of the different systems that are in place. We think about those systems. Those systems are run by people who are people. So that means they can be corrupted. So quote unquote, right? Because it's not even a point of corruption. It's just, look, this is who we are. So why are you denying who you are? Right? Like you rather see and maintain an image that you're not. But why? Right? And this is in one of his stories when he tells, you know how I got these scars. This is after they go after Harvey Dent. Now, the first time you hear the story is when he's taking on the criminals. He's, going after the criminals, which we'll jump back to. But like I said, this isn't like a chronological breakdown where we're going scene after scene. But in that, okay, you don't want to see reality, right? That he tells in you want that. How did he phrase it? You want to know how I got these scars. I think that's what he said. Which I actually should have wrote his actual words, or let me tell you how I got these scars. But either way, it was one of them, one of those lines. But he tells the story of his scars, and he says that he was a gambler, right? He was a gambler, and he got into debt. So I want to say it was him. I want to say that he caused the scars for his girlfriend or his wife, right? But so I want to say he starts off saying, I had a wife, or I had a girl, or I'm dating this girl. I want to say it was his wife, and I want to say that he is the one who goes into debt, and since they can't collect from him, they can't get the money from him, so then they grab his woman, his wife, and then they cut up her face. Right now, she is like, of course, like a woman, and her face, her beauty, even because they didn't do a flashback, but if they did a flashback, I think that everyone could see who. I believe that every person's interpretation of what that woman looked like would be roughly the same, right? And I don't think that she's going to be like just strikingly beautiful, but she's going to be beautiful, right? She's going to, because I think all women are beautiful, like, and not even in a sense like you're beautiful, not in a like a romantic, no. I think all women are beautiful because I'm a man. I'm a heterosexual man, and I'm attracted to women. So, God put something down on the inside that makes me attracted to women, and that thing is in all women. So this woman that I see when Joker is telling this story, she's gonna have like a beautiful element to her, right? Now, for these thugs to come and destroy that beauty, that's gonna be devastating. Like that, that's gonna send her into a great depression, right? So he says, I'm with a woman, we're whatever, having a good time, we're living. I fall into debt, I can't pay. They show up, they pay her a visit, they scar her face. So I'm not sure if they did the same scars, but they did something to her face, and she was down, right? She was like, so then he cut his face, for her so that she could feel normal, right? So he cut his own face. He cut his own face, and I think he cut it in, like a smile or whatever. And he says he did it for her, but you know what? She can't stand she can't even stand to look at me, right? So that is in line with what I was saying earlier, far as who we truly are, right? So we're all scarred. We all have scars. Some people can see, some people can't, right? Like I remember just me growing up, I have scars on my hands, and I talked about it in the last episode. So I always covered up my hands. But what that did, and one thing that I noticed later on, like when I became an adult, is that, and I need to always have me a water ready, just in case I'm doing all this freaking talking. But one thing that I noticed when I got older as an adult that it did for me, it became a focus point. So I didn't care about anything else. That was the only thing that I thought about was my hands. And you have people who they think about their nose, they think about their ears, their chin, their eyes, their eyebrows, their forehead, their height, their weight, just their muscle density. Like the list goes on and on. Right? Because society, and I think is coming over to men, to where men are self-conscious about all of these different things. But I can't really speak on that because I only thought about my hands. That was the only thing that I thought about. Now, we know that there is no normal. There is no normal, but I would say that from a body standpoint, having 2 legs, 2 arms, 10 fingers, 10 toes, 2 eyes, a mouth, a tongue, right? Like 2 ears, like that's normal, right? Like at least that, there will be variation, but just having those things like you're normal. But what we find out, and we know this just with race, with everything, that once you have those things, well, then we're going to find something else. So if you have 10 fingers and 10 toes, well, how long is your middle finger, right? How long is your index finger? How short is your pinky? Like then we start to get into little small nuances, okay? How round are your eyes? How oval are your eyes? How pointy is your nose? How small is your nose? How big is your lips? How small? Like we really, I mean, we just find anything. Once you meet whatever requirements, then we can start to nitpick. And I never received any of the nitpicking because of my hands, right? So that was just a tangent on we all have scars. My scars you can actually see. You can see my scars, but some people, if you can't, you can't see their scars, and that's what the Joker says in that story. Is that everyone has scars, and the thing that I like the most really about his stories, he only tells 2 stories, but it fits the situation that he's in. Like, man, that's just freaking genius, man. Like, it fits the situation. Like, so when he goes to kidnap Harvey Dent, he tells that story. It's to a whole bunch of rich people, right? Like, they're perceived as real. I don't know. I don't know their bank accounts, right? But it's like I want to say it's a fundraiser. It's at a fundraiser. So, if they're at a fundraiser, I mean, I've never been to any fundraisers that look like that, So let's just say that they're rich, right? So when we apply that story to the environment that he's in, I mean, he just comes up with this shit on the fly. Like, yo, man, this is a very, very, very smart guy. Like the Joker, Christopher Nolan's Joker is very intelligent. He's very disciplined. If we look at what's the other Joker? But he's definitely he is shrouded. He is dipped in plot armor. He is zipped in plot armor. Okay, compared to Burton's Joker. Burton's Joker is charismatic. He's not as smart as Nolan's Joker. Nolan's Joker is a genius. Like he is a genius. I mean, just if you look at that story, and with that story is meant for that girl. Remember we was talking about the lies and how a lie is meant for the person who is receiving the lie as well as the person to protect the person who is given the lie. So we don't know if that is a lie or not, but we know that it pertains and it tells that story. It tells and it makes the point if you're trying to look for it in that situation, in the situation that he's in. It's saying how he looks at them and how they look at him, right? Like, yo, they can't stand to look at him because when they see him, they see themselves, right? And his wife, for her to get slashed in the face, like that's just what happened. It wasn't her fault. That's just a part of life, right? But that's a part of life that she's not trying to deal with. So when he does it to himself, then she really because it reminds her of what happened to her, right? And she doesn't want to be reminded. And he is just a reflection of them, the people that he's coming after, right? He's coming after Harvey Dent because Harvey's cleaning up, right? Harvey, and he's already in cahoots with the criminals, which we're gonna jump back to them in a second, right? Which that happened before this, but like I said, we're jumping all around. Like this isn't a review. You guys need to go see it. You guys need to see it if you haven't, and if you have, you need to watch it again. But just looking at the Scar story for the criminal side, he goes and he tells the story because he had already after he took the money. He robbed whatever McConey's bank or whoever bank he took, he stole from. They're in a meeting, right? It's all the different gangs, like right, the different you got the different gangs, and they all meet, and that like I said, like that's based on like white mafia, Italian mafia, which like they would meet. All of the different families would meet And the black gangs, I'm trying to think of a situation now when there was like a peace rally, like the peace treatings and things like that was held back when in New York, and I want to say it happened I don't know if it happened in Chicago, but I'm sure it did. Like, I'm sure, because what happens is like someone will come to say like, yo, we need peace. They'll say like, yo, we need peace. So then they'll try to get all of the different gangs together to kind of voice peace. That's the only time that I'm aware of different black gangs coming together, is in those peace rallies. Other than that, and I'm talking about just like sitting down with, other than that, they're going to meet on the field. So let's say if it's a basketball game and one like kingpin he's investing in a player or a team, and then another kingpin is investing in a player or a team, and so like they get together like that, but they don't, like, they're not together, they're not sitting, they're not like talking with each other, and it's friendly, like, yo, it could pop off. Okay, it could pop off like at any second. It's no, yo, we're doing this is our turf, y'all shouldn't be here. What's on the agenda? Like, yo, okay, this one has these streets, yo, y'all came over and a couple of your goons roughed up some of, like, yo, that does not happen. Okay, not in any of the situations that I'm aware of, that doesn't happen. But in Italian mafia and Jewish mafia, right, and like some of the other different European, but look, we just really umbrella them under white. And I know with the Whoopi thing that's controversial now, right? Because Whoopi, in her statement, I'm not like quoting, I'm not like reading it, and read exactly what she said, but ultimately what she was saying is that Jewish people are white and the Nazis were white. Now, there was an uproar, but people brought into being white. Like that wasn't always the thing. Like, you were Italian, or you were Jewish, or you were Scottish, or like you were all of these different, Polish, right? You were all of these different ethnicities from Europe, right? You were European, but it wasn't under one umbrella. But I want to say that it's not even after, but there was it might have been like Jim Crow. So it was like before Jim Crow, right? Because this concept of white is fairly new, like white and black, because black is African American, right? And I only use African American to say that black because other, like, when you're from America and you're black, you think that black is black. Like, yo, you from Africa, you black. You from Germany and you black, you black. But like, they like, nah, I'm not black, right? That's what their take on it. It's like, yo, I'm not black. Whatever, right? I'm German, right? What is it? I'm from Dominican. You hear that a lot. I know black, right? That's just them, because in America we're like, yo, if you're black, you're black. But they're like, yo, no, I'm not black. I'm from Dominican Republic. I'm from DR. Right? So they like, yo, okay, well, So this concept of white and black is new. It's fairly new. It's an American construct. But at some point, and I mean, it's all recorded. It's not even like it's vague, but at some point there was a buy-in, and this is during I want to say like maybe the civil, like Jim Crow type stuff, where it was, okay, we're segregating. You can you can be white, and you'll take on these amenities, and you'll have these amenities, or you can be black, and then you can have all of these disadvantages, right? And no one is going to say like, yo, man, I want those disadvantages, right? Like no one was going to say that. I want these disadvantages, because I want to say that even during that time, people from India would come over here and they're brown. And they're like, yo, no, I'm white, right? Because white just meaning that like, yo, I get privileges. Like, yo, I'm not a descendant of the slave trade, and how y'all treat black people. Like, yo, I'm not that. So like, yo, they're like, yo, I'm white. This is people from India, Bangladesh, and all the other countries, right? These are those people over here in America, and having to make a choice and saying like, yo, am I going to be a part of the losing squad, right? And we're not saying in far as inferiority, we're just saying like, yo, the government is going after these people. The government has set up this structure for these people to fail. And this really has so much when we think about the Joker and what he's saying. And this is something that hasn't been addressed in any of those Batman movies, but it's real. And this would be his case, right? This is definitely, you guys know that this would be in my Batman movie, right? Now, is it going to be as overt? Like, who knows? But it's still real. It's still real. It's still reality. And it's not just black. It's any minority. Anyone that's different. Anyone that's different, because it's just mob mentality. But the only problem in reality is it was actually infused into government practices and in law. It was actually on the books. Racism, right? If somebody says a bad word, that's not racist. Racist is racism, and racism is a systematic oppression of a group of people, in which saying systematic meaning government. There's government oppression of people. That's racist. That's racism. And the person who supports that system is a racist. So it's not if someone says, if you're just talking and you say nigger, right? You just say the word. You're talking. You're not talking about a person. You just say like, yo, that is a bad word. I don't like, nigger is a bad word. And this is kind of, the Joe Rogan thing. If you just say that doesn't mean that you're a racist. You're a racist if you support a system that is designed and legally set up to oppress someone. Like, then you're a racist, right? Now, prejudice, we're all prejudiced. We all have ideas based off of movies, based off of music, based off of art, based off of all of these things. And all of these things are based off of money, right? All of this stuff is being created to be sold. So if our perception of a person is based off of something to be sold, well, where's the real value in that? Where's the real value of that opinion? That opinion doesn't have value, because if I made this song to sell because these people want to buy it, and you take the song, you listen to the song, and you say like, yo, that's how people are. Well, no. That's how he is. No. I just did it because that's what people want to buy, right? When I write a story about whatever, it's because that's what people want to buy, right? So to bring it back, like we were saying, with white, and we're talking about the mobsters. We're talking because Whoopi, she was saying that the Jewish people, Jews are white, and the Nazis were white. But that concept of white and black is a new concept. It's a fairly new concept, and those people brought into it. And when I say those people, I mean Europeans. They brought into that, and that's why it's not even. That's why we're in a situation that we're in. But anyone would have done it. If some black people could have brought into like, yo, I'm white, they would have. We know this because some black people in New Orleans and in the South had slaves, right? But they said, yo, I'm not black, I'm Creole, right? They identify with the white, with the European ancestry, and they had the money to back them. Like, yo, if their father or mother was French and had an estate, right? They like, yo, I'm here and I got millions, back in those 1800s and 17 and 1500s. Like, yo, I'm rich. So they were treated as such, right? They would have slaves, they would have whatever, right? Like, yo, they had the money and they had the backing. But once, the New Deal, Reconstruction, so you had the Civil War, and once I want to say like after the Civil War and you had Reconstruction, and they made a deal, the South and the North made a deal that the North would withdraw their troops from the South. Then white rule was brutally enforced, and those Creoles, they became black overnight. Like, are you black? And everything that they had was taken from them. Now, before the war and before all of that, like, yo, they were Creole. Right? But once you get this idea and you start to define, okay, look, I'm white and this is what white means. You're black and this is what black means. And I get this and you get that. Right? It's just a pillage. And this is what's been happening in Europe just since the beginning. That's what makes Europeans so fascinating. It's the written, documented traditions, right? African tradition was more of an oral tradition. So it wasn't documented. So a lot of the things that happened, it was just passed on. But we learned from one of those, the last episode, that time, when it's not being recorded, it gets fuzzy. We know this. It gets fuzzy. And, by the Europeans recording and writing everything down, just like the Chinese and the Japanese, by them writing everything down and recording, even though the Chinese would destroy previous dynasties, right? Once you got overthrown, like, yo, let's just destroy all of that. But they still wrote down theirs. So we still have an idea of how things were before. We just are left with whoever was the last ruler, right? But if we look at just culture, we look at Western culture, even Eastern, and it really doesn't matter. I mean, all of it is beautiful, but you're able to track. You're able to track. And this is what, like, yo, Europeans, they've been doing this since their beginning record, since their first entries. This is what they've been doing to each other. So the systems that are set up in place, like the ghetto, all of that stuff, they was doing this already over in Europe. Taking Jews and sending them off to, look, we're going to, destroy them. And it's not even It's not just Jews. So the point I'm making is not that okay, they don't like Jews and they don't like black people. No, it's not that. This is unified human behavior. This is human traits, and this is what the Joker is saying, is that this is human behavior. How you treated the Jews, how you treat black people, how you treat the Brown brothers, right? Because in every I don't even want to say Spanish because Spanish was imposed, right? Spanish is a language that was imposed on the people of South America, which is not even South America because it was there and the people were there before it was named America, before the Europeans came over and named it America, right? So the indigenous people of this land and the southern part of this land and the northern part of this land, they were already here, right? So I'm not saying that the Europeans, they don't like the indigenous people to this land and to the south and to the north, right, of this side of the hemisphere. They don't like Browns. They don't like Jews, right? They don't like Scottish. They don't like Scandinavian. They don't like pick somewhere. Kyrgyzstan. Like you can name anywhere, but it's just human behavior. And that's what the Joker is saying. And in that story of his scars, right? Going back to the first story that we talked about, this is the second story. But these are the scars of humanity. And when you show people this, they don't want to see it. But this is who you are. This is who we are. And it's only by looking at it can we say, like, yo, we need to change. Like, yo, this isn't working. So back to his scar story with the thug, right? He gets into it with the thugs or whatever. He takes over, right? Because remember, they had this big meeting, and he gets in, which, like I said, that couldn't happen. That couldn't happen because criminals, like when you have different families like that, they don't trust each other. They don't really like each other, even if they come to an agreement. Okay, we're going to stay on this side. That agreement is only because there has been a peace treating. We're getting tired of killing y'all. We getting tired of y'all killing us. So we come with a peace treating, right? So that, again, like I said, this Joker is a genius, but he's also dipped seas in plot armor. Okay, he is dipped in it. I mean, he is just drenched in plot armor. In that scene, he has an argument with one of the black gangsters. All right. And the black gangster, this is the thing with, we're just not even, look, I'm not even going to analyze him because we're almost at the 2-hour mark, which, I like long podcasts like this. So, this isn't a problem. Like this type of long format, I think podcast is good for this type of stuff anyway. It just gives you something to kind of listen to while you go throughout your day. So, yeah, we'll get into it for a little bit, but I'm not going to, be too long on it. But, all right. So he has, we can see that, there's a really bad dispute, right? The black guy's like, yo, man, you steal from us. You're, you don't even you're a freak, right? He's calling them all of this stuff, and he's saying like, yo, you don't even have the right to even be amongst us, right? Now, in reality, he would have he wouldn't have known where they were for this, this treating. Like this type of stuff is like high security. It's high security. It's high secrecy. very high secrecy, to the point that if something like that were to happen, if you just had like some uninvited person show up, like, yo, they're going to get killed. Like he wouldn't have been able to get into the door. If he was somehow able, like, yo, they would have got him before he got into the door. Right? And we're talking like, yo, at that level, when these guys have that type of money, like, people are ready to kill. Like, there's no question about it. We just saw in the opening of the movie how ready they were ready to kill each other anyway. Right? And this Gotham, because Gotham, I guess, represents like it's just decay. It's a decay but thriving city. So it's a very weird dynamic that's also dipped in plot armor. Right? The city itself, like the whole all of that shit is dipped in plot armor. So like Gotham could not exist to the degree that it is, and just the Joker being able to actually learn about where they are and able to make it there and then get in there without any commotion. Like, yo, the guns would have been off, like they would have heard. It would have been a big thing. And then even after he made it in there, those gangsters would have actually went to war with each other for him actually making it there. They would have went to war with each other, because the idea is like, yo, who told him? Right? For him to blackmail us, like, yo, he's not blackmailing us, he's blackmailing me. Because I don't know y'all enough to know that he's not blackmailing you. So he's talking about taking some money, right? And he's talking to all of this stuff. Look, I'm losing. So let's say all of us are losing, but I don't know that. Like, I don't know that all of us are losing, right? So he comes in there and he says, oh, we got the Batman. And look, he had his grenade. I think he had like a little jacket, because they was going to rough him up, but he had like a jacket and grenade. And so then they like, well, no, look, I'm telling you, like, the people that I know, like, just from the people that I know, like, yo, he wasn't getting out of there. He wouldn't have got in there, first of all. If he would have got in there, then he wasn't getting out. And if he would have gotten out, there would have been a war amongst all of them. Because it's like, yo, nah, one of y'all brought him in here. You feel me? One of somebody in here is working with him. And since I don't know which one of the 5 or the 3 or the big 4 or whatever, then it's all of you then. And then I know that I'm not working with him, so that means that I'm against all of y'all then. Like, that's how that would have played out. Like that's how that would have played out. Okay? So even if he made it that far and he got out, like, it would have been a big war amongst all of them. Okay? So then the Black one, he puts out a hit on the Joker. He says, yo, I think 500,000, maybe it's 200,000 if y'all bring him dead, and then 500,000 if y'all bring him alive. Okay? That's the hit. So, he's in his penthouse, or he's wherever he is, and some thugs, they bring him up, right? They bring up the body, and he was like, well, it's 200,000 for him dead, and then the Joker, boom, pops up. Nah, but it's 500,000. I'm alive, right? Which, man, it was just like, that was a kick-ass movie, man. It really, really is, man. So that again, guys, because we just can't we can't expect this. We just can't accept and expect this to be real. And some of y'all say, well, I know it's real. I know this is a movie and this is, no, I'm telling you guys, look at Art. Art went into a real fight with a boxing glove thinking that he was going to kill somebody if he just had both of his hands. Okay. Remember, like, I want you guys to really remember that, because I'm telling you, I've faced a lot of dudes on the mat who thought something that was not real. And it's because of movies and TV and all of that shit. I'm telling you, there's so many people out here today that thinks a certain way because of what they are shown in movies and on TV. A lot of guys thought they was going to get on the mat, they was going to whip my ass because of the way that I look and the way that I perceive myself and the way that I talk. But once we got on that mat, look, reality is reality. And they had an epiphany. And I don't say that to be cocky, to say that like, yo, I'm going to whip everybody's ass. No, I already have an epiphany before I even step on the mat with anybody. I already have this epiphany that they can whip my ass. It does not matter. I already have that. So in reality, if I feel something different, I'm going to exploit it. But in every confrontation, I always go in it as, okay, this is how I could lose. This is how I lose. Like, I spent a lot of time just losing. So when I get on the mat, like, yo, I've seen, I've seen a lot of ways to lose. So when I lose, it's not going to be as easy, because I'm already expecting. I'm already, okay, this is a way. So I don't want you guys, in anything that you get into, especially some of you guys, some of my listeners are young. They get into these, they stepping into the crime life. And they thinking that, look, man, you just put a hit out on somebody. Look, man, I want them alive. I want 500. I want them dead, 200 grand. And just a bunch of strangers are like, yo, it don't work like that. It just doesn't, man. It just doesn't. You're not going to be a stranger and come up into like because he was seen as a kingpin. I mean, that's pretty much what he's a boss. Like, and black bosses are kingpins. Like, yo, like that's what the black boss, and he was a black boss. So he's a kingpin. Okay. They didn't say it, but look, I mean, that's what they are. They're kingpins. If you're not a kingpin and you're black, you're not a boss. We talking about crime, He's just out here. He's the biggest card. He got the biggest card stealing ring in America. Like, okay, I mean, look, man, kingpin's making like $200,000 a day, and that's for real. Like, that's not street value. Yo, he sees $200,000 in street valued cocaine. Like, yo, no, man, these kingpins are making 200,000 plus. Like, just imagine, like, yo, I know what it feels like to make an substantial amount of money. So when you start to say like $30,000 a day, like, yo, that's not even like Killer Hill kingpin status. That is a lot of money. $30,000 a day, 10,000. Look, you only need to make, what is it? $3,000 a day is a millionaire. That's $1 million. That's more than $1 million if you make $3,000 a day. Okay, that's a little bit over $1 million. Okay, so when you start to say 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, $40,000 a day, like, yo, that's only achieved by a kingpin. Like, when we talk about crime now, yeah, if you're in the tech world, and I'm sure those numbers get up there. Like, some of these, millionaires and billionaires, like, yo, they get up there. Like, so the numbers it gets up there. I mean, just think about it. Like, a person who makes $1 billion, like a billionaire, and there's what is it? It's like 700 and maybe 750 billionaires, American. There's like 750 American billionaires. So it's like this is 740, right? But there's always somebody who's cracking into there. So there's like 740 billionaires. 7 of those are black. The rest are white, right? Again, we get into that white, black. So white meaning anything other than black. So it's 700 of them, 733, 732, and we got around 7 to 8 black billionaires, right? So when we get into billions, we can just, because we're looking at these numbers, right? We're saying that if you make $1 million a day, that means that you're doing 365 million a year. So that means you can round up, just like in RAM, you can round up to 400 million. You can do, look, I'm worth $400 million, right? That's $1 million a day, right? A billionaire is doing that 2-3 times over. So they're making, like $2 to $3 million a day. Like, that's crazy. So on the underworld side of things, like, only a kingpin is going to even begin to fathom $1 million a day, right? And some of them do it. Like, I mean, it's just crazy. Like I said, like I can't even fathom that. I just can't even wrap my head around those type of numbers. Okay, now I have been fortunate enough to have seen some good numbers, right? I've been fortunate enough to see those type of numbers, and then that's me, and I'm nowhere near rich. Okay, I work at FedEx. I'm like, I'm at the bottom of the barrel. Okay, I gotta put in. Look, I wanna take next week off. I need to look. I gotta put that in. Okay, there's a vacation. I gotta put that in. So I'm nowhere near that. So we're talking about this kingpin. If he's in on with those the crime family in Gotham, like, man, this dude is a kingpin. You are not. First of all, you're not going to know where he lives or where he just is stationary. You're not going to know where that is. You're not going to know. Like, he's not up in the tower somewhere. He has a condo in the tower. Like, you're not going to know that. As far as you're just some local street thug. Like, I put the word out that I want the Joker dead or alive. Mainly, I want him alive. Right? Here's, $200,000. Then we got to say, okay, where's the Joker getting this loyalty from? Like, where is he getting this loyalty? Like, man, like, that's not real. That's not real, man, because I'm telling you, $200,000. Like, think about, what's his name? FBG Duck. FBG Duck in Chicago was a huge, he was a huge rapper. I want to say that he had the biggest hit since, like, Chief Keef with Slat. Slat was a huge hit, like, just nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. Like, that was a huge hit. Like, just nationwide. It was a huge hit, just as big as Chief Keef's early hits that he had, right? So when he gets murdered, like, how much did he get murdered for? And, we don't know if it's a hit or not. I'm sure a lot of information has come out in this trial, but as big of a, he was a big, we're not talking about a crack dealer. He's not like a crack dealer. He's, just pushing music, but he has influence, so people would want him dead. So if he had a bounty on his head, like, how much would that be? Pop Smoke, he gets murdered. They come in to rob him. They took his bust down, right? His bust down is probably only worth like $6,000, even though he could have spent 50. He could have spent 50 to, 60,000 to get it bust down. right? He could have spent 50 or 60,000, but when you go to resell it, it's only going to be worth like three to five, right? Like I could buy it, me right now, I could buy it, some kingpin's bust down. Like, yo, he want to get rid of it because he know that, like, yo, if he sell it to a jeweler going to give him like, yo, I give you $1,000. I give you 1,600, man. You feel me? I'm going to give him $5 and I'm going to wear it. Like, yo, I'm going to wear it. So, a kingpin is going to sell me his bust down. Because especially if he's done with it, like, yo, especially once he matures, he's like, man, I got these bust downs and this shit. I just want me a plain Jane. That's all I wear. I'm in a bigger circle now. Like, yo, you feel me? Like, yo, I'm going to get his bust down. Now I can wear the bust down. People like, damn, like, yo, how much is that? It was $60,000. And it was, you feel me? Like, yo, it was $60,000. I didn't pay $60,000, but the guy that I got it from, he paid $60,000 for this. That's what we're talking about. So you only get 3. So now we're talking about this kingpin in Gotham. He's the only one. Because look, I mean, there's going to be other black gangsters and other black criminals in Gotham City. But because he was in this who's who of who, right? That means that, yo, he was the only one. Yo, he was the biggest crack dealer in Gotham City. He was the biggest dope dealer. He was that big. That means he's selling crack, especially in today. Like we make him today Gotham. He's selling crack. He's selling heroin. He's selling lean. He's selling weed. All the different, it's like 5 different levels. He's got all 5 different levels, right? Like, yo, for him to be at that level, like, yo, he has his hands in everything, in black crime. Like, yo, his name is ringing through the streets. He's like supreme, right? And this takes us to, things where these guys, when there are attempts on their life, like in reality, like E-Moneybags wasn't going to give somebody like, yo, how much can you give somebody to put their life in danger, right? Like, yo, I'm going to take you. Supreme puts the hit out, right, on E-Moneybags. He says like, yo, I want dude dead, right? He puts the hit out, and I'm just some local street thug, and E-Moneybags come to me and he says like, yo, Bo, I'm gonna give you X amount of dollars for you to say that you kill me and that you're actually bringing the body to Supreme and his team in the lair, right? We're not gonna meet in the lair. He's not gonna be like, yo, man, bring him up to my house. I'm on 145th Street. Like, yo, no, man, that shit don't go like that. It does not go like that. What's gonna happen is, yo, I took him out. Oh, all right. You feel me? Like, yo, I would have to look. I gotta see one of his goons or his thugs or something, and I gotta like, yo, make sure his goon or thug don't kill me and to act like he was the one who killed E-Moneybags and get the money. Right? Remember, E-Moneybags is pretending to be dead. So I get killed, and now E-Moneybags is about to really get killed, right? So I got to worry about that. So how do we set up that type of deal? Well, I need a broker. I need somebody. Look, man, I'm the one who did the hit on on E-Moneybags, right? So then. Because remember, this is E-Moneybags' plan. We're gonna take his live body in front of Supreme so that he could, and then we're gonna overpower. So it's like what, 3? It's like 3 of us. It's a crew. There's 3 of us. We're gonna get this $200,000, right? How much is the Joker gonna give me? He has to be able to beat the $200,000, right? So me and my team, I think it was like maybe they had like a 3 to 4 man team, right? So we're gonna split up 200. No, we get So we're saying that he's dead. So we get $200,000. We're gonna split that amongst what? Let's say 4 people. I think it was like 3 to 4 people. So we're talking about 50 to 60 grand. you know. Now, if you're a low-level street thug, and that's going to be good, right? You're a low-level street thug. That's going to be good. But you're also a low-level street thug. So, like, people don't trust. Like, who is this? Is this kid even from Gotham? Like, I'm telling you, this is the way that it goes. This is the way that it goes. So, you're not going to be able to make it in, like, he's not going to meet you in his condo. You're not going to see where he lives, right? That's not going to happen. 9 times out of 10, you are going to meet somewhere, to make the drop. And there's going to be somebody else that's going to actually pick up, the body. And that person is going to have a team. Not that they're even expecting you to try to rob them, right? It's not even that. It's just like, come on. This is, the police, like, even though they got cops in their pocket, because, especially when a gang or something has cops in their pocket, they move a little bit more lax, right? They definitely move a lot more. They're like, man, real relaxed. So, you can get something like that, right? But all in all, it's like, man, it's so many parts to that's just not going to happen, okay? And then after that, they finally get up there and we get to the Scar story. Okay. Again, like I said, Joker is genius. He says, he had an old man. I want to say there was this old man and he's a kid, right? So he's a kid and maybe his old man was beating on his mom. And I don't know if his old man took the knife to his mom, but he was definitely, just kicking the shit out of his mother in front of him. And then he goes to the kid, and I guess because the kid looks sad. So then he says, that's when he drops the "why so serious," right? Like, why aren't you smiling? Why aren't you laughing? And then he cuts the mom's face. I mean, the kid's face. The father cuts the kid's face, and that's the Joker, right? So in this story, because I believe that in each story, I want to say that in the story with the rich people is the wife, right? So she was, brutalized, and then he is himself. So he's just there to show who they really are, right? And not to be sad, but in the story with the kid, because he cuts the guy's face right when he says, that he got his face cut. So in that story, the father is the Joker, and the black gangster is the kid, right? So he's, kicking the shit out of these gangsters, right? He's kicking the shit out of the guy's father or the guy's mother, right? The gangster boss. He's kicking the shit out of the gangster's boss, right? Who the gangster believes is his, authoritarian. He's kicking the shit out of him. Like, you should be happy and smiling because this gives you an opportunity to be elevated, right? I'm showing you how to do this because you've been down and you're not the man, right? So I think it was Falcone is like the leader of all of y'all, right? He's the head. I'm showing you how you can become the head, but yet you're, huffing and puffing, ready to blow the house down. And it's like, why are you so serious and so invested in this system that's really not even protecting you? This system doesn't give a fuck about you, right? So in this story, he is, the Joker is the father, and this black gangster becomes Joker as a kid, right? So he cuts his face to say, like, yo, you're looking at this wrong, right? He's trying to show him how to get ahead, right? How to, become with power. So that's why I say that, like, yo, like these stories that he says, it's for, it's tailor made for the victim, right? For the person that he's interacting with to kind of gain some type of understanding and for him to come up with this on the fly, right? Of course it was written, but still, we're in this imaginary world. Like, this is on the fly. It's not like, he's like, okay, then I'm gonna hit him. Like, nah, he's just boom. This is, but this is how he thinks. Like, we're getting a chance to understand how he really thinks. And we would have got another, that I would tell you how I got these scars when he was with Batman, but I think Batman just, started beating him up. Right. But we was going to get another story, and that story would have pertained to his interaction with Batman. And so it's just like, yo, like it was fire. Like, again, just testament to how good the movie is. And then we have this idea of less dead. Now, we talked about this in one of those serial killer episodes, right? But this is like the biggest thing that society and that government, mainly society, right? Society is here, and then government kind of protects and maintains society, right? Government is the hand that deals the justice for society and that runs society, but it's not one in the same thing. But the less dead idea in this concept is whose life is valuable, whose life is more valuable. And it's one of the downfalls to society is when we start to say that this person's life is more valuable than that person's life. This person, like, we can kill, our killing is bad. But if a person breaks into your house, or if a person rapes or is raping or in the attempt to rape your daughter, you can kill them, right? If there are, certain situations that we deemed as a society as like, yo, boom, you can die over this, and this is no blood on nobody's hands. It's okay. So it's like, to juggle that is the fulcrum of society falling, because as it deals out death to the people and say, okay, this is good and this is bad, and okay, it just creates a seed of resentment, and it creates a seed of destruction. And as long as you can say, okay, this murder or this death is okay and this death is not okay, then you're creating room for the demise and destruction, right? And that mob justice ultimately is the one who says what life is good and what life is bad. So as he kills different mobsters, it's okay, right? These different gangsters that he kills, like he has them kill each other, right? All of those lives, like, yo, that's fine, right? That's fine. But if he goes to kill, like when he says that guy who wants to expose Batman identity, he wants to expose Batman's identity, so he goes on national TV, and then the Joker's already killed or have had. I mean, it's hard to say who he's actually killed, but he's already had the Batman, one of his impersonators or fans, right? He's killed one of his fans. And then I want to say he puts out the challenge for Batman to, because he's already like taken out the cops, because there's a corruption in the police department, which we've already kind of covered. We've already covered the corruption in the police department. Because when we say that, people are just, like I said in the very beginning, that people are people. We all have scars, right? And it's only when you're looking to try to be something that you're not, do you truly have depression? Do you have anxiety? Do you have unhappiness, right? But society itself is pushing this narrative through mob justice. Right? So there where we have the guys who wants to tell Batman's identity. So that he's puts a mark on his life, right? And he's just an innocent guy. It's not like he's a criminal, but yet he's seen as a criminal when put up against the different lives of the more and more life we stack up. Okay? So he's just a regular guy. Like, he's a regular guy. And yeah, we know that he was trying to blackmail. He was trying to blackmail the corporation, right? We understand that that's what he was doing. So we know that he's he's a weasel, right? He's a bad guy if he's trying to blackmail him. But if he was just going to tell just off of, look, I'm just going to tell for no reason, then okay, that's fine. But it's not fine because we see Batman as the hero. Right? We see Batman as the hero. So that's not fine. Because, we want Batman to keep continuing to be the hero. Joker, he like, nah, man, it's not time yet. Boom. I want y'all to kill him. And if he's not dead, and I think they gave him 60 minutes. If he's not dead in 60 minutes, I'm going to blow up a hospital. Right? Now, at this time, he's already did the initiation sequence for Two-Face. He's already, started the Harvey Dent train, right? He's already started that. So, boom, he puts up this, life. We're just tackling his life, the value of life, the concept of less dead. So this one guy, he's innocent. He's just an innocent guy. He didn't do anything wrong to people as far as the public is seeing. But I want him dead or I'm going to blow up a whole hospital. That's going to be like thousands of people are going to lose their life if y'all don't take this one life. Right? So Joker is constantly trying to push that envelope of the concept of less dead. All right, so you don't want to kill this person, but you want to kill that person. This person is okay, right? As long as like soldiers and gangsters and people who are subscribed to dying for their profession, it's okay if they die. But like an old woman or a school or a kid, they can't die, right? And we already know that in reality, he would have attacked a school or anything like that because we know the heart of our society and our government is a beautiful, you gotta be beautiful now, I'm sorry, but it's a beautiful blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl. That is the heart. Like, that is the heart. So if you're really trying to disrupt, because remember, everyone is chaotic. Only thing you have to do is give them a push. If you really want to give them that push, then that's what you would have done, right? We saw this with 9/11. Like, they were really on the verge of a few more attacks, and like, it would have been different. America would definitely be different, right? So we know how the Joker could have went about this, but at the same time, we also know in reality why Nolan didn't show certain things in the movie, right? Because again, when we get to the final part of it, it's that same concept. It's that same concept. It's the same reason why the game Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes, they took out the Twin Towers. that was a scene in the game, and because of reality, what happened in reality, they took that censorship. Here we have censorship because what happened in reality, the game was censored. Like, oh no, we can't do that, right? Someone made the decision for all gamers, right? Someone who probably doesn't even play games made the decision for millions of gamers around the world. Like what? Like what? But they did. They made the decision for millions of gamers around the world. Someone who doesn't even play games made the decision. Like, didn't give us the choice. Look, man, there's a scene in here. You can play the game without the scene if you just, press O, right? So as soon as the game load up, this is what could have been done to give every person a choice. There's a scene in this game. If you press O, then we'll remove the scene. It has to do with the Twin Towers. You press O, you won't even see it. You press X and you'll play the game, as the creator intended you to play it. But that wasn't even a choice. They didn't give us a choice. Just y'all can't do it. Why? Because I just don't want it in there. And, who are you? I'm nobody really in the gaming field. I've never played. I played a little. Yeah, I used to dabble in Pong a little bit back in my youth, but But see that's what the Joker is talking about. So that same reason is why certain things wasn't addressed in The Dark Knight. If he was really trying to cause this chaos, right? In reality, like if we was like, he's really trying to be chaotic and really attack society at its heart. We know where its heart is, right? So, but he didn't do that because of, certain things that actually happened in reality. And so he's like, we can't show this. But it's like, but why not, right? Like we can't cut our face and show it to the people, but why not? Right? Like, who are you to say what and how I'm going to react? Like, my father grew up in one of the worst times in American history on the East Coast. Now, I know it's the East Coast and the West Coast. It was like this. So the 70s, it was crazy. The 70s was crazy. The 60s was crazy. And they did not have video games. They did not have first-person shooters. They didn't even have beat-em-ups. And it was lawless. Like, it was crazy. We're talking about New York, Times Square. Like, it was crazy. Like, definitely not the same Times Square that that your boy was in, homeless in New York. Like, man. It was not the same thing. It was like, it was not. Like, it was not. All the different gangs and just the brutality and the fighting and the robbery and the crime and all of that. Like, all of that shit was cleaned up. Mayor Giuliani has a lot to do with that, right? But it's just to say, like, it has nothing to do with censorship, right? What consumers are consuming has nothing to do with how they are acting. It's just like the music, like gangster rap and the aggressiveness, like drill music now, right? Drill music is not causing people to go out and like causing young teenagers to go out and gun each other down. Like, it's not the music. It's not the fact that they listen to the music and say like, because they're doing this, I got to do it. That's not why. But because they are doing it, it's in the music. So it's just a loop. It's a cycle. And because people want to hear it and it's making money, well, it keeps getting pushed. And because it keeps getting pushed, it keeps getting out there. And this is a way that it could be done. And because it is a way that it could be done, then it's going to get done like that. And it just keeps going and going. But it was here before. But violence and gun violence and all that stuff was here before drill music. Just being able to gun, especially in America, being able to gun down your opponents, your ops, being able to gun them down is a product of other things. It's just that easy to get a gun, and they're pushing guns into the community the same way that they push drugs into the community. And this is a fact. This is a fact. All right. They have pushed drugs into the community. They're pushing guns into the community. It's hella easy if you're underage to get a gun. It's like, getting a gun now, it's like getting alcohol if you're underage. It's hella easy. Hella. It's just crazy. It's just that many guns. And people are making their own guns now. And it's not because of any media. It's not because of any media. It's not. Right? But that's why Nolan couldn't address certain things. That's why the Joker couldn't do certain things. He's trying to bring down society. He's trying to show that society is ready to crumble. Only thing you got to do is push it. That's all you got to do. Just give it a little push. Right? That's it. So so different lives are going up for grabs, and we're seeing that, some lives we don't care about and some lives we do care about. Like when Harvey's, he get put in a situation, and we care about that, right? So everyone is experiencing loss in here, but just depending on how we perceive them, then it's either okay, look, we don't even care, or we're saddened by it, right? And remember, that's the fulcrum of the downfall of any society, is putting some lives over others. It's okay if this person dies. It's not okay if that person dies. But is death? To be murdered is to be murdered, right? To die prematurely is to die prematurely. Now, if this is my girl, spoiler alert, and you're Macaulay Culkin and you get hit up by them bees, like, me, your boy Bo almost died. I remember I was, 9, like 8 or 9. I got stung by a bee and almost died. Like, it was like, boom. This wasn't even my first time getting stung by a bee. So I don't know if it was a killer bee. I don't know what. But your boy almost died. This was a one sting, right? Our boy Macaulay, he got hit up a couple of times. Like, they lit him up. Right? So this concept of less dead, the Joker is, toying with that. Because he knows that, it's a problem in that, and it's how do they say it? I can't even think, but it's a word. It's not a discrepancy. It's not a fallacy, but it's like an imbalance. It's something like that. And that's what he's saying. That's what he's addressing and attacking. He's showing how mob justice can happen just at any whim, right? And he just shows how just a little bit of, he says it, right? Like just a little bit of gasoline, like a couple bullets, gasoline and a match, and boom, this shit all comes down, tumbling down, right? So it doesn't even take a lot to cripple the system, right? So we're going to speed up just a little bit because this is probably the longest episode in a long time, especially the longest solo episode. I don't believe that I've cracked the 2 hour and 40 something minute mark in in any solo episode. So I don't want this to be like 5 hours. So we'll just kind of speed through. But one of the things that that's addressed is Batman creating he creates more of a one man rule, right? Just like, yo, I'm the voice, right? And it's crazy how we go through these different points of rule to say like, okay, in this situation we have a democracy, but when democracy is pushed by the wrong group, then what is it? I can't think. It's like totalitarianism, something like that. I would have to read it, but I know it's something along that line, right? Where you just have one ruler. He's saying like, yo, like, and he becomes that voice, and it's like, yo, look, no longer are we using democracy. It's just one person pushing their agenda to smoothen out the playing field, to level the playing field. And then we go into the boat test of the two different governments, right? Well, we just have, all right, boom. We have the people putting up a vote. They're all getting a chance to vote to say, okay, are we going to blow up the other boat? And then on the other boat, you have one rule, the guy with the guns, he gets to make the decisions, even though he, the warden on the boat is outnumbered, but it's like, yo, he gets to make the decision, and he doesn't want to make the decision because of his own selfish personal gains and his own personal selfish reasons, right? It's trumping his innate human right and human self-preservation script, right? Because he knows that, if he comes off of that boat, he's going to go to jail. He knows that. Like, yo, now I'm going to be in prison with these prisoners, and so he doesn't want to go ahead and kill the people in the other boat. And then the civilians with all the women and the children, right? Now they have to decide, and they come up with the decision, okay, we're going to hit the trigger. Well, who's going to pull the trigger, right? And then the guy gets up. He's like, all right, I'll do it. I'm going to go ahead and hit the trigger and kill these people. And then he gets up, gets it in his hand. He's shaking, right? He can't bring himself to do it, even though that means that everybody's going to die, right? So how come he can't bring it? So it's like, yo, is there some moral thing, some moral code that why he can't go ahead and hit the button to kill? Which we already, look, man, the Joker is a agent of chaos. That's how he describes himself. So we already know that it didn't matter who hit the button, both of them was going to blow up, right? Like, yo, both of them was going to blow up. Like, that's just how he does it, right? And we're just talking about the belief of the people. It's like, yo, so how come this guy didn't do it, right? They already said these people made their decision. They were the scum of the scum of Gotham. They are criminals. They had their chance, and they chose to be wrong, to be bad. They have to die. And this was echoed on that boat, right, with the civilians. This is being echoed over and over and over again. It's being echoed. And it's like, yo, so what's the deal? How come he can't pull himself to kill those quote unquote guilty people? And, in the words of Batman, the people of Gotham City showed you that. They're like, oh, man. And his voice, I think that was like the most, when you watch it now, the Batman voice is the most irritating thing about the movie. It's like, yo, man, why is this voice that deep? Like, yo, man, dude's voice is hella deep, right? It's hella deep. So, that was crazy. That really was. It was funny. It was funny, right? So, did that civilian not blow up the prisoners because he felt like it was wrong, right? And it's like, nah. He didn't want to live with the guilt. So again, we're saying that like, yo, man, this is all what the Joker is saying. So on the prisoner side of the boat, the warden, so a prisoner steps up and he says, look, man, you don't want to do what needs to be done, but I'll do it, right? You can blame it on me. You can put it on me. So because remember, like I said, it wasn't that he felt bad or sad or anything. He's like, yo, man, I'm going to go to jail if I kill, these people. So they're like, yo, man, so this criminal gets to go. He takes it and let him blow up the innocent passengers on the other boat. So he grabs it and he throws it out of the window. Right? He throws it out of the window, and it's like, oh, was he just compassionate and he was this and he was that? No, it doesn't matter. What he did is he just took the idea and the thought of himself, not really looking at no one else, still under authoritarian type of rule, and saying like, yo, man, I'm going to do this because of whatever beliefs and whatever thing that I have, and I'm not going to take into consideration about anybody else on this boat. So he throws it out. But this is all on the whims of him. There's no voting. This isn't a democracy. This is still authoritarian, right? Totalitarianism. This is still that. Just boom. It's just one person making a decision. Which none of them blows it up. And the Joker, he's waiting. And he's like, boom, this didn't happen. Batman drops his line. But he says, his greatest achievement was Harvey Dent. And he was right. He was right because remember, we saw Harvey Dent rise up and just have everything. He had everything, right? But he was only good as long as being good gave him what he wanted, right? Like he was fighting for justice. He was doing all of this stuff. He did it the way that it was supposed to be done. He went to school. He went to law school, right? He had a beautiful woman. Like he had all of that stuff. But when that stuff was taken from him and he was down on his luck and just down, everything was taken away from him. What he cared about and loved the most, when that was taken away from him, like, yo, and then he flipped and he was like, yo, nah, I'm not good because it's not serving me to be good. Right? Only a wolf can catch a wolf. Right? That was his thinking then. So then he started to, boom, he's going after the people who was responsible for the death of his loved one. And he was going to do that. He was going to inflict justice. He was going to look. I'm a vigilante, but the problem with Batman vigilantism is that, like, yo, he's not taking lives. So these people, they're just able to come back and keep coming back. No, they're not coming back. Right? That was Harvey's stand. So then what happens? Boom. You finally get to where, Harvey goes down. And now Gordon, because he is the commissioner at this point after they did an attempt on his life or whatever. Commissioner Gordon and Batman creates a lie. So now they create a lie for the people of Gotham. And they say, like, again, we're back to censorship. We're back to we deem they can't handle this truth. They can't handle the fact of reality and truth. So only thing they can do, they can just handle a lie. And I'll be the villain, right? So here he really becomes, like, when we say the movie is titled The Dark Knight. But at this moment, he's actually lying to the people because he feels, him and Gordon, just the two of them, feels that those two people can't handle the truth about reality and that it would shatter the fabric of Gotham. This is what the two of them have decided under a stressful situation. After that ordeal. They didn't get a chance to cool down, to think, and to, ponder and to kind of weigh the pros and the cons. Just after this heavy decision, boom, they make the decision to like, yo, this is what we have to do. Right. And at that, like, yo, he made a bad decision to censor the people. Like Batman, he is the Dark Knight. Right? Like, yo, that was a dark decision. That wasn't a good decision to lie to the people. And anyone who says that, yo, he did a good deal, that's what he was supposed to do. Right? I'm not saying that you're wrong. You're just, we're all humans. That is a part of being human. It goes back to the scars that the Joker talks about when he tells Harvey's girl, about his wife. Like, yo, and she couldn't stand the look. She couldn't stand to look at me, to see the scars on my face, because it reminded her of her face. It reminded her of reality. It reminded her of the truth. Like, yo, that's powerful. They lied, right? So that people wasn't reminded of the truth. No, they couldn't just handle the truth. And put some makeup on that. Man, but give us some more eyelashes. Draw on some eyebrows if you have to. Let's keep this lie going. Because this shit is frail and it could fall apart at any second. Like, that is just crazy. That really is crazy. It really is, man. It really is that they was treating the people, grown-ups, they're treating grown-ups like children. Oh, Santa's coming. He comes once a year. Like, Santa's coming. You better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. He knows when you are sleeping. Like, yo, man, are you serious? Batman and Commissioner Gordon. So it just proves that, like, yo, the Joker, he was right. He was right, man. That Batman himself would have never become the Batman if it didn't serve him, right? Like, if his parents wasn't murdered, he would have never sacrificed his comfort in his time to become the Batman. But he felt pain and hurt from criminals, and he wanted them to feel the same pain. He wanted them to feel a physical pain. He's like, yo, Batman is brutal. He's going around beating the fucking shit out of people. And I say it because that's what he's doing. He doesn't care about, most of your criminals it's because of poverty. The people who are like real criminals, like the low levels, like, because he's not just, just fucking up anybody. Like, yo, he's fucking up low level criminals, like these low level street thugs who probably just making a little bit enough to just go around and eat. Like, these guys aren't living like lavish, like they're making $10,000, $15,000 a day. And we already established that the big boys are making at least 200,000 and more. Some of them making even more than that, right? So that means that you're low level, like, yo, your guy will probably making like maybe $200 a day. Like, yo, Batman is gonna fuck your ass up. Like, yo, man, and you don't have no insurance. Like, yo, you just done. Like, yo, you are done, and you going to jail. Like, yo, your life is finished. After he done broke your leg, you don't got no insurance. Like, yo, man, you having a bad day. Like, so my language is to emphasize the reality of Batman. And he would never have been like this if his parents wasn't murdered in front of him. Right? not by, these low level guys. These guys wasn't even around, but he's still inflicting that pain on them. He's still remembering. And we see this. He still is dealing with the death of his parents throughout all of the films. I mean, he's always dealing with it. I don't think they address it one time in The Dark Knight. And I'm gonna have to watch the third one to see if it's addressed in there as well, right? But it's just to say that the Joker, he was right. Now, was he right in his approach? I mean, we gotta say that. Look, man, all life matters, right? BLM, right? But all life matters, but we are human, like we are human, and we have to acknowledge this concept of less dead. There is a reality to it, and it's no matter what government runs you or rules you, there is a concept of less dead. Some life is more valuable than others. That's just the way it is, and we get mob rule and all of that. Look, man, that's just always going to be a part of it. So now when we speak on Rogan. Right? We're almost at we're at the 3 hour mark. We speak on Rogan, and it's like, and on anyone, it's not just Rogan, right? Rogan, he said the word nigger. That's not the same as calling someone nigger. And this isn't taken away from anyone who feels offended, like, because I understand, like, just the struggle, right? The people like Fid. We got to speak on Fid because Fid went through this. Fid, our other co-host, he was alive at a time, and he told me of a time when he was on the bus and they were in Cleveland, and whenever they got to the South, like, they had to get off. They had to step off, right? And then when they got back on, they had to move to the back. Or if you just stayed on, you had to move to the back, right? So while you was up, in Cleveland, you were good. You could ride in the front. It was no problem. But once you hit a certain point in the journey, like, it's boom. It's Southern segregation, right? And it was boom, this is it. So because we have people who really experienced it, Emmett Till, like, it's so many others, right? So that's me when I bring these up is to say that, like, I understand that the people who went through this, they have a certain way and they have a certain reality, and I'm not here to question that reality. But from my reality, which, Baltimore is it was the testing ground for a lot of the oppression, as far as the financial oppression and the zoning. Like, Baltimore is ground zero for zoning oppression in America. The concepts and the things that they did, far as like, black people are going to live here. We're going to block certain interest rates. We're going to not, like, certain banks and realtors, like, a realtor can't even sell. They can't even sell this property or show this property to a black person, because if they did, then they would be blackballed. They could lose their license. Like, a lot of the systems that are in place today that construct the ghettos, right? The modern black ghettos, the testing ground was Baltimore City. And that's where I'm from. And I bring that up because, like, I know it firsthand. Systematic and governmental racism. I know that. I don't know personal nigger. Like, I don't know that racism. In Baltimore, and we had, like Sicily, we had Little Italy, Sicily, like, Poland, like that type of stuff. We had those communities in Baltimore. We still do, right? And it was, very segregated in Baltimore. like very segregated. So I know it from a systematic and a government standpoint, but I don't know it. They never called me a nigger to my face. And I didn't get chased like in New York, Long Island, Staten Island, right? Staten Island, like, yo, you was being chased and called it. And there were pockets in Baltimore where I'm sure they were, because it's going to be kids, teenagers going to do crazy teenager stuff. So there were pockets of it, but we stayed away. So it's not like, we just went everywhere. Like, yo, I never walked into Little Italy as like a teenager because we all knew that, like, yo, they was going to they could beat you up, right? You like, yo, they could beat you. So I knew this, but it was never in my face, right? It was never in my face. But for those of you who your parents, your grandparents, even you who actually faced it and could see it, like, yo, I understand. Like, I understand it 100%. Like, yo, you feel some type of way, but like, I don't. Like, I'm not quick to deal out someone's racist for saying, like, if they say, and look, I'm not even going to say it no more, right? Like, I'm not even going. I'm gonna refer to it as the N word as well, because just like Chappelle says it, like, yo, how come I can say nigga, but I can't say? I don't know if he used fag. I don't know if he used that. Right, or queer, or I don't know, but I'm guessing that it would have to be fag, because maybe that is like a bad word, right? Far as like yo, gay people see that as like, yo, that's a slur and that's offensive, So he was saying, like, how come I can't say, he can't say the F word, but he can say the N word, right? And she said, well, you're not gay. And he's like, well, I'm not an N either, right? So I think just as people, which, look, I don't care for censorship, period. Like, it's crazy to me that we have words that we cannot say out loud, or it's now some public uproar. Like, that is a problem to me. That is a real problem, because we know that the government in racist America, right? Racist America does not care about racism. Like, they don't care about the word, about using the N word or not, right? They use it. So when people are getting canceled, or when people are being fired for using it, or, when they do that type of stuff, it's a big problem to me, because I know that they don't care about me and the people. They don't care about my people. They don't care about your people. And it doesn't matter who's listening, right? Like, yo, they don't care. So when they act like they do, it's for a reason. And it goes back to that power issue, right? Like, yo, once COVID came, a lot of people lost their businesses. A lot of people lost their jobs. So when you lose business and you lose jobs, that means somewhere else somebody gained business and somebody gained jobs. Like, wherever there's a loss, there's a gain. So they use COVID and the restrictions of COVID to start taking people's liquor licenses. Now, in most places, liquor licenses are grandfathered in. Meaning that, okay, they couldn't take your liquor license before COVID. So before 2019, they couldn't take it if you were in certain parts of the city. Once COVID hits, and now it's like, again, it's back to the Dark Knight. Once a certain thing hits, now we're able to use this certain type of rule and a certain type of law. And once it's available, it's always available, right? Some of you guys have never flown before 9/11. I have. And it is very different. It was very different. It was very different to fly before 9/11, 2001. It was different. It was very different. Like, yo, it was very different. And I didn't fly in the 80s. So it would have been even more lax in the 80s. And I'm talking about it was hella lax in the 90s. Like it was hella lax. Like, yo, it was boom. It was real relaxing, man. It was good. Like, yo, just the airport, period. It was good. It was just an experience that we will never experience again. And just think, from just that one incident, from that one group, right? And some people are ready to look, man, I'll give up my power. I'll give up my authority. You know, it's no big deal. I get that. That's just like in cars now. So many of these new cars have cameras. They have cameras inside of the car watching you as you drive, and they have them outside of the car. And people are thinking like, well, it's all right. There's no big deal. You don't even know that it's in there. And it's in there recording you. It's in there recording what you say. It's in there, like, it's recording where you go. It's recording where you live. And remember with the Joker, man, we all have scars. We all have scars. So who's to say that the people watching this footage and have authority over this footage that they're no better than me? Their shit stink just like mine. If he's a male, his dick gets hard just like mine. Like, yo, there's nothing. There's no difference. Right? So now once we start to apply this less did concept to different things, it's like, yo, that's a problem. That's a problem. So that's that. My ultimate take on Joe Rogan is he's going to be all right. Like, yo, he's rich. Like, yo, he's hella rich. Okay. I'm not. Like, yo, I'm struggling. I got to put in for vacation in the next, if we plan on taking a vacation in the next couple months, like, I got to get that in now. So, it doesn't it doesn't matter. It doesn't do me no justice to fight for Joe Rogan. He is not listening to my podcast. None of his friends are listening to my podcast. None of his friends or him are going to come to my aid. I need help. You need help. We all need help. Like, yo, nobody's coming to help us. Like, nobody. So I listen to Joe. I'm going to continue to listen to Joe, but I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to rev up or rile up or, get into a great discussion about it. Like, yo, no, man, I can't care about that because he's rich and his life is going to keep on going. His family, they're going to do whatever with the money, right? And other people who are in higher positions is so like thousands. I remember my piano teacher used to say, man, there are 10-year-olds who will play circles around you. And she was right, and she is right. There are 5-year-olds. There's probably 1,000 5-year-olds who will make me quit playing the piano. Okay? After these 5-year-olds get up on that piano, like, I ain't even playing no more, man. What the hell am I doing with this shit? Like, that's the reality of it. So I say that for you too, guys. Like, yo, don't get too invested in this, man. Their life is no more valuable than our life. All right. I wish everyone the best. I wish Joe the best. I wish Alex Jones the best, right? I wish Trump the best. I wish the best for my enemies. What I don't wish is that, any of my people should die by their hands. I don't wish that, right? But I wish that everyone can live a happy existence and just, feel fulfilled and be able to provide for their family. That's what I wish for everybody. So that's what I say for Rogan and anybody else who comes up on the chopping block. Like, yo, man, they all right. You feel me? Like, yo, they all right. Just, bite down and, keep moving, right? That's for all of us. Whenever adversity comes and whatever difficulties come, just bite down, hang in there, and Reese's PCCC.